Bummer, the holidays are over. No more presents. But yay, you have your freedom again. The new year is full of ups and downs, but however you're feeling, you can always be happy with Prime Video. Catch the new season of Reacher. Rent or buy new releases like Taylor Swift's The Eras Tour extended version. You can add on hundreds of streamers. One app, one password. Prime Video. Find your happy place. Restrictions apply. Prime membership not required to rent or buy. See Amazon.com/Amazon Prime for details.
Are you struggling to conceive? You have options, and at Piedmont Reproductive Endocrinology Group, we'll make sure you have the guidance and support you need. PREG is known for individualized fertility care that's unique to every patient. We take the time to provide a reassuring and empowering experience because we believe that you deserve nothing less. Let us help you on your journey to parenthood. Visit us at pregonline.com to learn more. Get the guidance and support you need at Piedmont Reproductive Endocrinology Group.
Our area's most beautiful properties deserve the finest realtors. Meeks Realty Group. We focus on buying and selling residential and commercial properties throughout the tri-state area. Contact Meeks Realty Group online at meeks.us or call 304-440-1101.
The views and opinions expressed on this program do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of 580 WCHS, its employees, or WVRC Media. From the studios of WVRC Media, the country, the United States of America, the state, West Virginia, the city, Charleston. This is the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live. And your host.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
He's kind of a big deal.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
Dave Allen.
Have a good Wednesday morning to you. Welcome to the show. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live comes to you from the Par-Mar Store studio. Par-Mar and Game Changer present the annual Par-Mar Shootout on the campus of West Virginia State University, February the 5th through the 8th. 4 big days, 8 exciting boys and girls basketball games each day. The first games tip off at 9:30 in the a.m. For a complete list of games, visit Par-Mar Stores on Facebook or X. And remember, if there's not a Par-Mar store near you now, there will be soon. And the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live presented by Thornhill Auto Group, including the all-new Thornhill Toyota on the Thornhill Motor Mile US 119 in Chapmanville. We continue to help them celebrate their grand opening of the all-new Toyota facility there in Chapmanville. Matter of fact, today, as soon as I leave here, I'm headed down that way, myself and Steve Bishop from V100, Matt Guitar Murphy from 96.1 KWS, and Woody Woods from The Beat, all broadcasting live from 11 to 1 at Thornhill Toyota. I'll be there on our sister station, 98.7 The Mountain. So looking forward to seeing you there with the folks at Toyota today. Biggly, Piggly, Wiggly hotline, 304-345-5858. Fruth Pharmacy text is 304-935-5008. The boss, Dale Cooper, is our producer today, rocking the retro Alley Cats hat. Looking good in there. Rich, the Realtor Kline, is with us. Rich, good morning. How are you, ma'am?
Dave, good morning. How was your Christmas?
It was good. It was good. How about you?
Real good. Yeah, real good. Lots of family around, lots of food. Mm-hmm. Right up your alley, except for those kids.
Did you have to go there?
Sorry, buddy.
Yes. Coop's saying to me, but he said he knows you well.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Rich and I used to be really good friends, too, up until today.
Well, about 10 minutes ago.
Until about 10 seconds ago. Yeah. I want to say this. I kind of subbed on the on the Ask the Experts program for Coop with the folks at Foster Construction. You were listening to the show coming in this morning, and you were talking about how, I guess, in your world of real estate, that your paths kind of cross, not specifically with that company, but sure. we even talked about home inspections and things like that. Something that's right up your alley, Richard.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I said we really ought to just kind of remind everybody that we live in West Virginia, so his services are needed here. Mm-hmm. And I had a structural engineer tell me one time that there are really only two kinds of houses here in West Virginia: those that have had structural issues and those that will. And so
it's a very pessimistic thing to say, but it's true, right?
But it kind of, it's the mountain state. So and he's right about the expanding soil. I just kind of heard that from other engineers as well. But from a realtor's perspective, if a home if it's had structural repairs done, and then you have another engineer or independent engineer go and say, yes, I've inspected it, I'm comfortable with it, then I'm comfortable selling the house. Mm-hmm. And buyers out there always shy away from them, and there are ways to get around them. Now, obviously, if there's huge crackings, and sellers are selling the house as is and going to put the bill right in the buyer's lap. Then those are different stories. But again, if it's been repaired and then it's been re-inspected by a structural engineer that says that he's deeming the house to be safe as it is on that day, I'm fine selling that house.
I want to show my ignorance here, as I do on a regular basis on this show, and it has to do with, you mentioned the term as is. Now, I know in the automotive industry, which is something I'm a lot more familiar with, I know that West Virginia is not an as-is state. I can sell you a car myself to Rich in a transaction between Dave and Rich, but if you go to an automobile dealership, it's not an as-is state. Now, other states around us, I think Kentucky is an as-is state where you can pretty much say, hey, you're paying $5,000 for this car, take it, go with it, good luck. How does that work with real estate properties as far as the term as is go?
So it's just about disclosures in that case. So the sellers are just going to say, listen, it is as is. Sometimes that we see that a lot from estate sales, and the people have never owned the or lived in the property, so they can't really tell you about what works, what doesn't work.
Grandma lived there, and then they lived out of state.
They might have lived there when they were a kid or something, but it's been 40 years or something. So they'll sell that as is where is, meaning that they can't really disclose anything to you about the house. That you really need to do your due diligence, hire a good home inspector, hire a structural engineer, hire any of those contractors you like. You'll have that in the verbiage in the contract to be able to do that, and you have to be satisfied with those inspections. But those inspections are on you. The seller can't help you with that.
Talk about the year, Rich, that was real estate here in the Valley in 2023. We'll do the preview coming up. Let's do year in review. Go back into the Wayback Machine here. How was the year in 2023 here in the Valley?
Well, it was a banging year for Rich the Realtor for most of it. I'm very blessed and happy to have had a good year.
Better year, but you've had a better year than the Steelers have. Is that what you're saying?
I definitely have had. Well, that's not saying much though. So just
Rich and I go back and forth on sports teams all the time. But go ahead.
But yeah, so it really slowed the rate increase has really slowed down and really caught up to me personally, and I think I speak for a lot of people too, because obviously lots of my colleagues are having the same issues. And in the fourth quarter of the year, things were much slower. But it's looking better in terms of what that looks like going forward. Rates are starting to creep down. They're back under 7% in a lot of cases. And, I would just encourage people to not be discouraged about the future. 2023 is what it is. The inventory is going to remain about the same. It looks like the amount of houses that are available to sell really haven't changed much. They'll fluctuate 10 or 15 one way or the other throughout the month. But unless the builders get out there and put a bunch of houses up or whatever that is, and there is a little construction going, but I don't over the next couple of years foresee the inventory changing much. Primarily, this is just kind of getting into the 2024. I feel like when the rates come down, there's still a lot of buyers out there kind of on the outskirts watching and trying to keep waiting for the right time, which, by the way, the right time to buy is when you need to buy. Just buy and then figure out the rate. You can refinance, all that stuff. But there are lots of people out there still looking for those homes. So when the rates do continue to come down, it looks like they will, they're going to get into the market. They're going to buy those houses, and there'll be some listed, and they'll be buying. I think that'll happen for a couple of years. That's my opinion. But it looks good in terms of the rates, and lenders will be happy because they'll start doing some refinancing, and all that's good for our.
And I think sometimes, and I'm not going to ask you to get into politics. We'll do that in the next segments of the show. But 2024 being an election year. Again, not taking sides either way. I'm just saying when it's a presidential election year, that sort of thing matters. And sometimes it's not about necessarily at this time of year. Obviously, people don't know who's going to win, but they're looking ahead, and it's kind of speculative.
Yeah, I think it's about consumer confidence.
Yes,
in my opinion,
and that's true of any market. Not just real estate.
Same thing for real estate. And I won't comment on politics, except for to say go vote.
Yes, go vote. Yeah. And you said, and you've done several of these segments with us now, Rich, and others have said that there simply aren't enough homes to go around for everyone that wants a home. There's simply not enough. Is there anything that we can do? And I'm not big necessarily on government getting involved in things unless we absolutely positively have to. But is there anything that can be done to try to spur some people to say, hey, go build some houses. We need houses.
I think it's just about the continuation of the cost to come back down, so that they were building at cost at $200 a square foot for a long time. And obviously large contractors are getting better rates than that. But if they can get those back down, most homes I'll just tell you in terms of the selling. It used to be prior to COVID that if the house was more than $100 a square foot, we really needed to justify that through upgrades and features in the house. When I would tell my buyers, like, look, this is $108 a square foot. Let's look and see what they have in there. But now it's not uncommon for those houses to be selling, same house is selling for $130 a square foot. So as the cost of materials come down and people can do some of those updates in their homes and not go crazy with price, and then the same thing for contractors buying to build. I mean, they have to make money. Those builders aren't going to build those houses for no money.
Sure,
no
yeah.
cost,
I mean, you can't expect them to do that.
Right. So when those costs continue to come down, certainly West Virginia has the land to build, but they have to have those reasonable costs.
And we've got people that are coming here.
And you spoke to this about on your last, on your Ask the Expert too, is that it's a staffing shortage too. Some builders are ready and they can do it, and they can't find people to show up, which is problematic for them too.
It's problematic for every aspect of the workforce that people just simply, Rich, do not want to work. And that's just the way it is. And if you don't believe me, go out and again, I hear this, and I'm not going to get political. I promised you. But I hear this all the time. People will text the show and they'll say, well, if they paid living wages, people would want to work. Okay, talk to anybody that's paying extraordinary wages right now and ask them about trying to find people to work.
Yeah.
It's an issue.
Go vote.
Go vote. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live is brought to you part by Bridge Valley. Are you interested in improving your company's IT workforce? Well, did you know that Bridge Valley offers custom-tailored IT training to bridge the skills gap? At Bridge Valley, you can train for little or no cost with a 50-50 salary match. Bridge Valley can also supply skilled graduates and apprenticeships for your company. Visit bridgevalley.edu/apprenticeship today. Rich, the Realtor from Meeks Realty, is with us. I've heard this term used a lot around the real estate business over the years, and it is preferred referrals. As it pertains to realtors. Now, some will use the term preferred referrals as it comes to lenders or other services, like electricians, plumbers, whatnot. How do realtors go about choosing who are the preferred referrals? And if I'm a contractor or something, how do I get to be preferred?
Well, that's a good question. And mostly from us, it's about experience. We've worked with some of those guys, but the way I did it when I first started is just really asking other realtors who've been in the market for a long time. I did a lot of research on some people, particularly ones that we use all the time. So you're going to need a title attorney. You're going to need a lender. You're going to need a home inspector. And I personally dug into some Google reviews and was really trying to make sure that if I'm going to refer somebody, we have to refer. Typically, we want to refer in groups of 3. Buyers can use, or sellers, depending on which side you're on, they can use whoever they like as long as they're licensed and all that kind of stuff. And we'll tell them that. You can give them, home inspectors have their own website for the whole state of West Virginia, so to speak. But I dug into that quite a bit just to make sure that if I'm going to send them out and say, hey, here's 3 of my preferred home inspectors. Now, I mean, that's how I got started with it. And then over, the years, I started, obviously liking some of those home inspectors that were good communicators, and they were quick to get their questions answered. They did really well with the buyers. And then for my past clients, I'm getting their recommendations. And really, I got those referrals from my buyers who use those people. Okay. So that way I know, hey, I'm referring somebody that is going to take care of future clients.
So do good work, basically. If you're a contractor or home inspector, do good work, and you'll be preferred.
I would say do good work, and then also be a good communicator. And if you're keeping us posted of where you are, when you'll be there, what the price looks like, all that kind of stuff, you're going to wind up on a bunch of realtors referral networks.
Any certain properties now, Rich, that you have that you're really excited about?
Well, I've got one coming in Winfield soon. It's on Main Street, so I'm excited about that one. I think that'll go within a couple of days. It's just a perfect location. We're still looking to have a good buyer.
Is this residential or?
It is, okay. Yes, it's residential. We're still looking for the right buyer for our Woodville Circle or Heights location. I showed that a couple of times yesterday, so that's hopeful. But yeah, we're just excited about getting through the holiday. I have a couple of personal closings myself this week related to my personal life with my new wife to be soon. We're selling my house on Friday and buying the house from her dad, he's been so good to us, and we're excited about that.
Do you have a good realtor?
I'm trying to do it by owner, so I don't have to pay them.
I get it. And I will say this: if you're looking to sell your home, if you're looking to purchase, contact this guy over here, because Rich is fantastic, and he's good with people and kind of dumb animals and that sort of thing. So I'm sure he'll do a great job for you. Where can people learn more about your services, your listings, so on and so forth?
Yep. So you can call me directly, call or text anytime. That's the best way to get me. At 304-932-7488. And you can get me Rich Kline 66 at Gmail. Best way to get the website is just to go to Meeks, www.meeks.us. You can link right to us.
Rich the Realtor, I appreciate you being here. And again, it's a Meeks Realty. Just contact Rich if you have questions, if you're looking at particular listings, residential or professional, or if you're wanting to sell, because Rich would like to buy your home, or he'd like to arrange for somebody to buy your home. I'll put it that way.
Let's be clear.
Yes. Rich is trying to sell a home right now. Yeah. Rich the Realtor, I appreciate it, man. Have a great New Year. We'll talk again in the new year, man. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Dave.
It is 9:22. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live is brought to you part by General Hardware and Lumber of Winfield. Get with them for a quote before you start your project. If you're tired of sorting through a bunch of crooked boards, get with General Hardware and Lumber. They have the straight quality lumber you're looking for with great pricing and the service you expect from a locally owned business. General Hardware and Lumber of Winfield. Back after this, and the Finance Chair Eric Tarr is here on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Brought to you by the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses want to thank you for supporting local small businesses.
Elevators. You take them for granted until they let you down. If you're working to maintain a stellar reputation, then let me introduce you to DC Elevator. We want to work with you to make sure your people get where they are going. What could be better than a new company coming to the area and already having 45 years of experience? DC Elevator is bringing a new culture of elevator maintenance, repairs, modernization, and installation to West Virginia. Don't leave your people hanging. For a free consultation, call DC Elevator at 304-345-7222.
After years of decline, West Virginia's economy is finally on the rise, and it's been an all-hands-on-deck effort. A critical member of our state's economic development team has been Republican State Senator Glenn Jeffries. For decades, Glenn Jeffries has run a successful contracting business, creating thousands of good-paying jobs. Now, as chairman of the Economic Development Committee, Senator Glenn Jeffries works tirelessly to help bring new jobs to our state. Vote for more jobs. Vote for Republican Glenn Jeffries for State Senate. Paid for by the committee to elect Glenn Jeffries.
Oh, the West Virginia hills. Did you know that some of the best music in the world is made right here in our own backyard? If you take the time to listen, you'll hear something good. Join me, the Appalachian Soul Man, Aristotle Jones, as I highlight new music from West Virginia and Central Appalachia on It Sounds Good to Me with Aristotle Jones. Saturday mornings at 8:06 on the Voice of Charleston, 580 WCHS. Oh, the West Virginia hills.
9:24, the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you part by Hudson's Pizza. This month is your favorite Hudson's. Get the special holiday pack, great for your New Year's Eve parties. It's a large 18-inch pepperoni pizza, 10 breadsticks, 12 hot wings, and a 2-liter Pepsi. Only $33.99. Find your local Hudson's at Hudson'sPizza.com. Boss Dale Cooper is serving as our producer today. Big League Piggly Wiggly hotline 304-345-5858. Ruth Pharmacy text 304-935-5008. I want to welcome to the show Senate Finance Chair Eric Tarr. Good morning, sir. Happy New Year.
Good morning, Dave. Happy New Year. Hope you had a great Christmas.
I had a wonderful Christmas. How about you and the family?
It was incredible. You know, it was everything Christmas should be for our family this year.
No, that's good. Anything in particular? Any good gifts you want to talk about?
I got all kinds of good gifts. I got stuff in my garage, my truck, my guns. So
see, and when you're a guy, and you're an adult guy, that's the kind of I got this for my garage, or I got this for my car, my truck, or I got this. It's you just, but that's what makes us happy.
We're just big kids. You just help us with our toys, and we're happy.
I got a lot of stuff, as I always do, with stars on it for the Cowboys. With I got some red stuff that Coop's going to absolutely love. So yeah, that's kind of what was kind of my Christmas. Before long, the session is going to be here. I know you guys just wrapped up interims a couple of weeks ago here in Charleston. I know, Eric, that the agendas are being worked on, but is there anything on the horizon specifically that you're looking at when the session starts? I mean, we have DHHR, we've got our correction system, which we have made a lot of gains in the correction system problems, but still not where we should be yet. I think you would agree with that. Foster care, Anything in particular that we're looking at for the new session?
It's going to be a big agenda, I believe. So as we get together with the caucus, we bring in all of our members, bring in their ideas and things they want to work on. We have those discussed within the caucus, and then we go through and see what kind of support each kind of concept might have, and then where our priorities will go. And the stronger the support for those priorities, the more it becomes a leadership item. And so I think that a lot of things you listed are, of course, all those that are front of attention for us. And there are a lot of those things you're talking about are really things that have been chronic problems, I would say, within the state. When you're talking about the issue that we've had with corrections and the issue that we've had with DHHR because of that split and CPS and the things that go along with that. We'll still have things around those type of topics, but I think that one of the things that this legislature, at least the Senate for sure, and there's been a lot of communication with the House too, is we really try to take a long-term look at things because those problems have been there for decades, really, when it comes down to it. And one of the reasons those problems persist is because we've not taken a long-term plan for things that have both with the way you regulate them and the way you fund them. And so we've been doing a lot with the economic development state that creates the funding models that come down through that you're able to provide the services of government at the level we should be providing it. And we're getting there. It's just it's a path to get there. It's not necessarily just opening a door and you're there. And the way I say that is that in order to fund like DHHR, you're talking about $1 billion part of our budget when you talk about that. Well, in order to go in, provide all the level of services you need, it takes the ability to fund it year after year after year after year. So you have to have the economic development there to be able to produce the tax base that comes back to fund the services of government. And what's happened, in my perspective, what's happened for decades prior to our leadership is that they were always putting out the fires and never looking at the long term. And so we're
Band-Aid solutions.
Band-Aid solutions. So all those things that are really hot topics that are right in front of us, really they're year after year problems that require very long-term solutions. And so those are that's the concept that we're looking at it. So I would say on the governance side of things, that's how we're looking at it right now. There's also, I think social issues are probably big this year, as well. It's because, there's a large part of our body that thinks that West Virginia should be a conservative sanctuary state. As things have been going across the country, it's kind of scary seeing what comes out of D.C. and what's coming out of some of our major cities. And I think people need a place to go. And we want those families here in West Virginia that want that conservative place to go where they can come here and they can live and work and raise a family.
Let's talk about the year that was 2023. This is the time of year, and I did this with Rich earlier. This is the time of year when people kind of look back and you go back in the Wayback Machine. You look at January, February, so on and so forth. So, how was the year overall in West Virginia? I mean, a lot of big economic announcements we know of. From Nucor, which actually happened a little bit before that, but from the bus facility in South Charleston. So many other. Seems like almost daily or almost weekly. There's another economic announcement. But talk about the year that was 2023 in West Virginia, Senator.
To me, the way that I remember it is it's a year where their palpable hope is on the streets in West Virginia. Mm-hmm. If you're out talking to West Virginians, they're very positive on the outlook, and by and large, and that's new for West Virginia. We've had for years and years and years. We've had West Virginia's had a chip on our shoulder, and you're just looking where's the next punch coming from. That's what you're always looking for. And that's not the perspective that I perceive when I'm out talking to public. It's that there's hope, they're excited, they're grateful for the blessings that West Virginia's been receiving, and we've been receiving those, by the truckloads here over 2023, and the future's bright. We said all along coming in we were going to create jobs. Well, the jobs are here. Now we got to figure out how to supply labor to the jobs, which is a great problem to have. And so I think the future's bright. You see population growth coming to West Virginia. We had better numbers for how many people migrated in this year than migrated in last year. And last year was positive migration. So that's you're going to start seeing as we get that younger migration coming into West Virginia, you're going to start seeing that birth rate come up. So I think the things that we've been really working on for a long time to say we need to grow the population here in West Virginia is happening. And it's happening in a very positive manner because of all that job creation coming in here. And it's and we get national attention for West Virginia's beauty, our people. I mean, you can't find friendlier people than here in West Virginia. Sure. And when we get all that travel coming here from across the country, it's recognized. And I think with us living here, we don't really appreciate that so much.
No. We're used to looking out our back door and seeing a mountain or seeing a stream or whatever. And just, I saw this firsthand about 20 years ago, being from southern West Virginia, Eric, when the Hatfield McCoy Trail system came in. And I was amazed. I sat on an economic development group in the mid to late 1990s in Logan County. And I thought, people are going to come here to ride these trails? We've been running these mountains our whole lives. I mean, why is it? Yes, I was wrong, because I certainly underestimate. It's kind of like, I guess, maybe people that live at the beach just think, it's just water. It's just sand. We don't think about it sometimes. Yeah,
it's such we talk about our resources in terms of coal and gas and timber and those type of things. I don't think that people realize what we really have right in front of our face and have had for hundreds of years. Sitting here, that West Virginia's beauty is incredible, and so when you have people now that can live really anywhere they want and work, that beauty attracts them. So for me, it's been an eye-opening year for West Virginia to be able to see West Virginia through other people's eyes, and just at the beauty side of it, and then also to know what they're looking for. We have it here. We have that family type of social attitude, I guess, here in West Virginia, is that you take care of your neighbor, you take care of your brother, and families are close and tight, and the country needs that right now. And so, West Virginia has that in addition to being so close to, half the country's population.
Yeah. I mean, proximity is a big thing here, and that's something that people are looking for. We're talking to Senate Finance Chair Eric Tarr. It's 28 minutes away from 10. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by your local Brightways agents, John and Sherry Mays, a Brightway to Mays agency of Tays Valley. Homeowners insurance can be complicated. Get the coverage you need locally with John and Sherry, a Brightway to Mays agency, 304-814-2509, or visit brightwaymays.com. Senator, I heard the governor during his briefing last week talking about the high school transfer rule. And of course, being a high school basketball coach, that's something that's going to be on his mind heavily. I've had Senators Amy Grady and Ryan Weld on the show in the past. Senator Weld, of course, was one of the ones who really lobbied, for what we have now. Maybe I'm reading the room wrong, Eric, but it doesn't seem to me like there's a lot of interest on the Senate side with addressing this in the upcoming session, because a lot of people have called for, including the governor, saying we got to do something about this. What's your take on that?
Yeah, my take is that it falls right in with education. When you're looking at the transfer rule, at least from my perspective, and I think from a lot of the Senate's perspective, is that we look at it as a piece of education as a whole. And what we've been trying to do with education as much as possible is give the parents the choice for what they want that educational experience to be for their child, where they want it and how they want it. And in doing so, you get a tailor-made education to that kid. For athletes that are in situations where athletics really matter, it's a matter of getting eyes on you, whether from scouts or what college you may play, if you're going to play past high school. Those things really matter, too, to those kids. And so for me, it's a matter of choice. It's where do I want to live and where do I want my kids to go to school, and I think the parents should be able to make that decision. So I have absolutely no regret whatsoever in this transfer rule, and I think most of the Senate feels that way as well.
Do you think it will be brought up? Do we have enough support for it?
It may, if it's brought up, I don't think it's going to be brought up in the Senate.
Okay.
I've not heard anybody in the Senate express any kind of strong interest at all into changing what we've done.
I'm going to get kind of deep here for a moment, Senator Tarr. There were some criticisms leveled at the Republican caucus by not only the Democrats, you expect that, but by a few other Republicans about a recent fundraiser, a pretty expensive one at that, held up at Edgewood. Some, Eric, again, on both sides of the aisle, has said it was basically just a fundraiser where, their words, by the way, where people could pay lots of money to have issues addressed during the session. Your take on that?
Yeah, I want to thank, we had a fundraiser, and I want to thank everybody that came out to help support our Senate caucus. That we came through with Republicans, and we are funded against by personal injury lawyers and labor unions. That's where the money comes in. The outspend is 5-1. So it is a fight when it comes to elections to get our message out and to get our candidates out there recognized, and that takes a lot of dollars to do that. And so the people that come out for fundraisers, and that fundraiser as well, are the people that are employers in the state. They are people who have nonprofits in the state. They are people, and even individuals that have personal interest in the politics of the Republican Party, that come out to help fund these races. So first of all, if you're listening, thank you. Thank you for coming out and helping these candidates get their message out across the state when it's coming time for elections, because as you know, Dave, our elections are in the primary now. There's not going to be many generals that are going to matter in this state when it comes to it this year, if any. And so the races are in the primary, so you have to get out there early and get those dollars raised. So first of all, I want to say thank you to them. Second is that, it takes money to go ahead and do this. And so fundraising is a thing. Any more than I'm one of the guys who's really proponents of having these fundraisers as powerful as we can make them in order to be able to get the money up, because we are outspent 5-1. We can't go in and force an individual to donate to a political cause by reaching into their paycheck. That's Republicans don't do that. Labor unions do that. With personal injury lawyers, we don't go in and sue the heck out of businesses and then turn around and take the money from suing those businesses and then fund our candidates to go in to fight Republican causes. That's not how we do it. People have to voluntarily bring their money to fund campaign races, and that takes fundraisers. And so we have fundraisers that, much like Trump would have a dinner plate fundraiser. I've known when they do presidential elections, you might have to pay $25,000 to go get a dinner plate to sit down. And these are all people who are very involved in politics to help fund those presidential races. And that's because it just takes that level of money to get a nationwide message out. And so we do that with our fundraisers as well. So we have a couple dinner plate fundraisers across the state, and we do that. And we've been getting better and better at that fundraising. But I think it's because that the policy that we're passing is more and more appreciated.
Were you surprised, Senator, that there were some criticisms about this event and events like that were being leveled at leadership by members of the Republican Party?
No,
and by the way, it was a very, very small part of the Republican Party.
When you say members, it doesn't take too many to be good plural. So,
member.
Okay, member. There you go. That's more accurate.
Okay.
What happened within that is that there was pictures taken inside of that caucus and then sent out to media, and then media misconstrued it to be something that it wasn't. Because it was making like you were selling influence, and that's not what fundraisers are. Fundraisers are out there to where you can go in and raise money to get campaign messaging out or policy messaging out, as the case may be with this. So, like if we're going to be running policy that has to do with foster care, if we're going to have policy that has to do with economic development, and we need the state to realize what we're doing and be supportive of that, to call their legislators, that messaging comes out through these funds just like it does for campaign funds. And so what happened within this caucus that was unique and kind of created all the stir that came out there is that there was a member in there that who's not happy with the caucus as a whole, and frankly the caucus isn't happy with him either. So who we believe snapped a picture and then sent that straight out to media and then disappeared from caucus. Mm-hmm. So, and then within minutes, that was out, and it was misconstrued as selling influence, which is not what that's about at all. Did we discuss policy? Absolutely. Every one of these people that are out there that come to these fundraisers, they tend to be in our offices when they come through the Capitol during session as well. The people who come in, meet with legislators, try to advocate for whatever position that they have. What happens when we have some of these fundraisers is that, especially if it's a caucus committee fundraiser, which, there's a caucus committee for the Republicans in the Senate. There's I believe, a caucus committee for the Democrats as well, and the same thing in the House for those two things, because we have those type committees that you fund. So when we have them all together, and then you're having fundraisers, that is an opportunity you're able to talk to everybody about there at one time. It's like a networking event, like you go to almost like a chamber event.
Mm-hmm. Give us a little inside baseball before we close, Senator, about what is going on now in the weeks leading up to the session for those that are in leadership roles, such as yourself or judiciary chairs or Senate presidents. What's actually going on right now once we get through the New Year's holiday?
It's very operational, so that one of the things that happens at the leadership level is you have a team around you that helps prepare to make things look like they go smooth. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by look like they go smooth is that you have, in order to get legislation passed and before the caucus, you have to have education that happens step by step by step by step. And that takes a lot of people to make that to where it's organized. We have, in the Senate, we have books that have the policy agenda for our members to be able to go look at and then write down notes to go back and say, okay, yeah, this is something that I would support, and this is, I might need these changes for me to support. It takes that kind of effort across both setting up the committees. It takes that for setting up policy. It takes it for getting schedules around the events that happen around the legislative session, whether it has to do with State of the State address and what we do before and after that. So it's very operational. It's mechanical right now because we've prepared for it all year long. Mm-hmm. As soon as we've finished last session, we started working toward this session. So the big stuff we've taken care of. Now it's just what's the mechanics of getting that stuff all done. So it's operational.
We would be remiss, Senator, if we didn't mention the passing of Marilyn Parsons, who was a behind-the-scenes person involved in the Senate for some time. Again, not one of the names that you see out there, but those of us that have been around the Capitol certainly knew. I did not know her well, but certainly knew of her, and she just passed. And so condolences to her and her family.
Absolutely. It's one of the large blessings of my life was to get to know Marilyn Parsons. She is an incredible person, or was an incredible person here in West Virginia. She's been here for several decades, working through legislature, and she's one of those people in the legislature that everybody can trust. Mm-hmm. She had just a wisdom about her of the process, and was just a genuinely good-hearted person. It's so sad for her family. But I tell you what, I count myself, and I imagine her family as the same way, count themselves blessed to have got to be friends and family with Marilyn Parsons here in West Virginia. She's terribly missed. Yeah, and we'll be missed going forward in sessions from here on out. Senator Finance Chair Eric Tarr, it's always a pleasure to have you on the show. Have a very, very happy New Year. No, you too, and everybody out there that's listening, have a great happy New Year, and then we look forward to getting things started here this session. We're eager to get rolling. Well, a couple weeks away. Yeah, it's coming up fast. Yeah. Yes. 19 minutes away from 10. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live is brought to you part by Pinnacle Consultants. We spend 90% of our time indoors, and our health risk for air pollution can be greater indoors than out. Pinnacle Consultants, the only accredited commercial lab in West Virginia for asbestos and mold. Visit pinnaclecorp.net because what you don't know can hurt you. We're going to take a break. We're going to switch gears, talk a little Mountaineer football with Jeff Jenkins on the way next on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Hi, this is Eric J. Tarr with the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. The families here at Generations Physical Therapy, Snap Fitness, General Hardware, and many others here in our region are wishing that your family has a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Hi, everyone. This is Danny Jones. As I've said many times, I've bought multiple cars from Larry Dawson's Auto Sales in Nitro, a few sight unseen. I trust Larry, and you can too. But the dealership also supports the local community. Every year, Larry picks out a local school and supports the athletic programs of that school. So when you buy from Larry, you're also helping the community. So keep Larry Dawson's in mind when you want to buy a car. You can visit LarryDawsons.com or go to 418 First Avenue, and Larry Dawson's place to go is in Nitro.
Having issues with your home like wet basements, water in your crawl space, bowing or leaning walls, or foundation cracks? You need Foster Construction, your foundation repair experts. Locally owned and operated, Foster Construction offers free inspections and estimates and has a licensed professional engineer on staff. Their services include basement and crawl space waterproofing, foundation repair, and retaining walls. Call 304-776-6263 and get started today. Online at fosterconstructionwv.com. Foster Construction. They'll fix it right the first time.
If it's not cost-effective for your business to maintain an in-house IT staff, then let Comax Business Systems be your complete IT consulting service solution. By outsourcing IT services, you free up yourself and your staff for revenue-generating opportunities. Comax can provide an IT help desk with 24/7 support, server and PC management and monitoring, IT strategy, backup servers, and a client portal to help keep track of everything. Call Comax Business Systems for a free quote today. Comax Business Systems, keeping West Virginia's business data safe, secure, and efficient for 25 years.
At Garib Dental Group, we love to see your smile. Take proactive steps towards optimal oral health with our comprehensive preventive care services. Our team of experienced doctors at 6 convenient locations is passionate about keeping your smile healthy and bright. From regular checkups and cleanings to advanced treatment, we are here to prevent dental issues before they start. Visit GaribDentalGroup.com to learn more and experience personalized care tailored to your needs. Garib Dental Group, where your smile receives the care it deserves.
16 minutes away from 10. Bigley Piggly Wiggly hotline 304-345-5858. Fruit Pharmacy text 304-935-5008. You know, the impact of Special Olympics extends far beyond the athletes themselves. Volunteers and supporters touched by the unwavering determination of these extraordinary individuals find immeasurable fulfillment in their involvement. The inclusive approach embraced by Special Olympics fosters an environment where everyone plays a vital role. West Virginia Enriched, in collaboration with Huntington, invites you to witness the transformative power of Special Olympics. See a video highlighting the Special Olympics at facebook.com/580WCHS. It is bowl day for the Mountaineers. WVU gets set to take on North Carolina in the Dukes Mayo Bowl in Charlotte. Jeff Jenkins, WVU fanatic and Dukes Mayo fan, joins us now.
WVU fanatic. Am I a WVU fanatic?
Are you a Dukes Mayo fanatic?
No, I'm not a Mayo guy, by the way.
Man, and you think you know a guy.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. There is no Mayo other than Dukes, in my opinion. Okay. So you just take my word for it. Let's talk about the game. Jeff, talk about this. First time they played since 2008, is that right?
Yeah. I was at two, working at two West Virginia, North Carolina bowl games. One was the Gator Bowl. From when was that? 1996, I think. 1996 in Jacksonville, and like they do today, their quarterback was out. Now, their quarterback this year, he's going to be high in the draft. And so he opted out. But then they had an injured quarterback, and a guy named Oscar Davenport came in. Mountaineer fans may remember that name because he had not played hardly at all, and he has this huge game against the Mountaineers, and they win. And then the last time they played was in Charlotte, the Meineke Car Care Bowl, so the bowl under a previous name, and it was Pat White's fourth bowl, and he was undefeated in bowls, and he basically took the team on his shoulders, and West Virginia won by one point.
That was a great game.
Yeah, it was a great game. So, yeah, that's the last time they played, and, they will play today. It's an interesting matchup because North Carolina gives up a lot of yards running the football. West Virginia has run the football very well this year. Zach Frazier is out, so I think that's interesting. Now, Brandon Yates will play center, and he's played a lot of football guard this year and has played some center, but, Zach Frazier plays such a large role. Not only he's very good, but he makes all the calls on the offensive line. So let's kind of see how that goes. I mean, will West Virginia be able to run the ball against North Carolina? Other teams have. And North Carolina is a really good back. And I heard a stat on their running back, Dave, is that he has gained over 1,000 yards after an initial hit. Okay, so he runs well after an attempted tackle.
So in the passing game, they called it yards after catch, or now it's yard after hit.
Yeah, yard after hit. So he's gained more than 1,000 yards, leads the country in gaining yards after an attempted tackle.
Okay.
So he runs hard. So West Virginia's going to have to really play well defensively. I think it's a really good game, and
it's a good matchup.
Yeah, it is, and fans love this. Mountaineer fans love to drive to Charlotte.
Oh yeah.
It's just like
once they finally got there yesterday, because there was a lot of hiccups getting down.
Well, what that was yesterday, I think, is Mountaineer fans going down. Plus, when Christmas falls on a Monday, you get a lot of travel south on the following day.
Sure.
And that's exactly what happened. Summersville was jammed up. The Turnpike was jammed up. It didn't get any relief, really, until you got to the North Carolina line. That's what I was told. So.
And it is amazing to me, they say, because, it's North Carolina, but... West Virginia University, I'm a Marshall guy, that, but West Virginia University is about the closest thing that we have to a pro team, here in the state. But in North Carolina, they have North Carolina, they have Duke, they have UNC Charlotte, they have North Carolina State, they have Wake Forest, they have all these different universities.
Yes.
So it's kind of divided. They're saying there's going to be 2-1 West Virginia fans.
Yes, I heard Tony Creedy said he's talking to bowl officials. They say 75-25.
Oh, really?
Wow. Yeah, 75 to 25%. And if people, I remember driving Dave one time to Gator Bowl on, I don't know if Christmas was on a Sunday, and we went the day after, we were going down to cover it, and we drove, and we couldn't get on I-95. There was so much traffic. I mean, this is not West, some of these may be in West Virginia, but it was mostly just holiday travel. And so what's the interstate that hooks after Columbia, South Carolina at 77 over to 95? Is that 26?
Maybe. I'm not sure.
That.
I'm not good with numbers.
So it was backed up like 12 miles just to get on I-95. And I remember pulling in. I've told this story before. I don't know on the air, but I pulled in. And a lot of people getting off at the last exit, and they were pulling in. There was this guy at a convenience store, and he had a map up. This is before the days of your GPS,
yeah.
And he's got a map up saying, if you take this route, then you can get back on 95 down here. And so that's what everybody was going, and you were able to get on 95. So, but anyway, Mountaineer fans are there, and it looks like the weather's going to be good.
Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah,
dry 65, maybe around this afternoon. By the kickoff, it'll be around 60.
For better.
Yeah, that's good.
And, of course, we're going to have complete coverage of the game. Big shout-out to the folks at Stike Wealth Enhancement for making a lot of our coverage leading up to the game possible. We're going to have complete game coverage with a normal cast of experts, I think yourself included. Talk about that.
Okay, so we get started at noon today, so it's going to be basically a 5-hour pregame show. So there's a 2-hour show with some features and different things, and then we do the sports brunch, which is from 3 to 5, which is a lot of fun. And then at 5, we actually have play-by-play coverage from ESPN. So this is an ESPN bowl game.
Yeah.
So at 5, they'll do a pregame show for a half hour. We'll kick it off at 5:30. And then we'll come back after the game for the point after. We invite people's calls or texts, comments. And so what we'll do, whatever time the game ends, we'll go to the nearest half hour and then another hour.
Okay.
So you could be as much as an hour and a half or as little as a little over an hour, but we'll talk about it after the game.
Nothing like a Mountaineer Bowl game here in West Virginia. Before I let you go, switching gears completely to a news story, we'll close it out with this. We had a shooting last night on the west side of Charleston. There are some new details about that.
Yeah, we've actually had some violence here in the city during the last less than 12 hours ago. So there was a shooting over at Lippert Street. There's an apartment complex over there off the west side, off of not far from West Washington Street. And a woman was shot and killed there. They've made an arrest now. So we've got our story updated at WCHSnetwork.com. A man from Columbus, Ohio, 38 years old, is charged with the woman's murder. And then there was a 9-month-old child also in the apartment that suffered some wounds, grazing wounds. Wow. So sounds like, we haven't gotten a medical report or anything, but it sounds like it was grazing wounds. But that's traumatic for anybody, especially a 9-month-old child. So that child's being treated in a hospital. And then city police are also investigating a series of stabbings. So there are 3 stabbings right around 7:30, 7:45 this morning near the McDonald's across from CAMC Memorial. 3 people have been injured. We're trying to sort out the details of that. Okay. We hope to get more on that from city police, and we will. They'll release more information, I would think, over the next couple of hours, so we'll update those stories.
All right, Jeff, I appreciate it. Mountaineer game day. Again, our coverage starts at noon today. All right, man. Thanks a lot. It is 8 minutes away from 10. Our texts to the show are a service of Fruth Pharmacy. Shop locally, shop Fruth Pharmacy. Fruth has been your hometown pharmacy for 71 years. And phone calls, our service of Biggly Piggly Wiggly. When shopping at your Biggly Piggly Wiggly, be sure to join their loyalty program. You can save big at the gas pumps and throughout the store with their electronic coupons and free gifts on Fridays just for stopping by. From farm to table, Biggly Piggly Wiggly, the best kept secret in Charleston. Texting services provided by Fruth Pharmacy, as I said, your hometown family pharmacy. Back after this at the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Hi, this is Eric J. Tarr with the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Our families here at Generations Physical Therapy, Snap Fitness, and General Hardware are hoping that your family has a Christmas that is everything it should be. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Thrive with 5 at the best community bank in the Kanawha Valley, Poca Valley Bank. Poca Valley Bank is now offering a certificate of deposit special, 10-month APY, annual percentage yield 5%. Take advantage of this great rate to grow your savings. For more information, stop by a Poca Valley Bank location today or call 844-782-2651. Poca Valley Bank, where relationships matter. Certain terms and conditions apply. Rates based on minimum annual percentage yield. Subject to change without notice. Minimum deposit required of $10,000 of new money not currently on deposit with Poca Valley Bank to receive APY. Member FDIC.
As you shop for others, 4th Avenue Financial invites you to give yourself the gift of professional financial planning. What better way to start the new year than consolidating old 401ks, examining your current investments, and preparing for retirement? Call me, John Burdett, at 304-746-7977 or contact us at 4thavenuefinancial.com.
Securities offered through JW Cole Financial Incorporated, member FINRA SIPC. Advisory services offered through JW Cole Advisors Incorporated, JW Cole Financial, JW Cole Advisors, and 4th Avenue Financial are unaffiliated entities.
Biggly Piggly Wiggly on Spring Street has served 3 generations of shoppers since 1955 as the largest locally owned independent grocery store in the area. The Joseph family owners grew up here, so you know they're invested in the community. They provide the biggest variety of choice meats, the freshest produce, an in-house deli bakery, great wine selection, and more of your favorite brands. Every purchase gives you gasoline points so you can save at our pumps. Order online for pickup at BigglyPigglyWiggly.com. Biggly Piggly Wiggly on Spring Street. No one beats the pig.
6 away from 10. It's Wednesday, which means our sister station V100 will be with the Red Carpet Lounge tonight, Working Women's Wednesday starting at 5 o'clock. Lots of great food and drink specials, prizes, and more. V100's Working Women's Wednesday, every Wednesday at 5 at the Red Carpet Lounge in Charleston. Bickley, Piggly, Wiggly hotline 304-345-5858. Fruit Pharmacy text 304-935-5008. A lot of texts to get to, particularly about the Eric Tarr interview. But going back to yesterday, text said, dang, Dave, you missed an opportunity to play some John Schneider for the bumper, at least some Waylon. That was on yesterday's show. I'm trying to go through. Okay, text says, Senator Tarr is a right-to-life fraud. He doesn't want to preserve life at all costs. Have him explain why he doesn't support mandatory blood donation or organ donations at death, which could save many lives. Have him explain the principle of bodily autonomy that applies to the deceased, but which does not apply to a living woman. Text says, the Republican legislature didn't create a single job in West Virginia, and Tarr knows this. Every economic development announcement and the new business he wants to take credit for is backed by federal money. Name names, says the texter. Tell us about your out-of-state elite financiers who buy your vote. Yeah, because that's exclusive to the Republican Party. Okay, not reading that. Text says, Republicans and Senator Tarr have been in power for the past 10 years, and we still don't have a plan to fix our foster care system. The house is still on fire, and he's not helping any of our 6,200 kids in the foster care systems. Text says, don't need any more money to talk about foster care, just need to take action. Senator Tarr's talking does nothing to fix the foster care system. Text says, police unions typically donate to Republican candidates. Since union donations are bad, will the Republican Party reject money from police unions? Text says, are there any restaurants having bowl game specials today? I don't know of any off the top of my head. I'm sure they probably all are. If it's a sports bar, yeah, they're probably doing it. I don't know of any in particular. I do not. But I'm sure they probably all are. Jeff has this story posted at WVMetroNews.com for the most recent board meeting from the Kanawha County School System. Reports are that there had been discussion at nearly every recent Kanawha County board meeting about transgender students being allowed to use the restrooms of the genders that they identify with. Now, the comments almost always coming during the public comment period, as Jeff's story on the website lays out. Board of Education attorney Lindsay McIntosh went over with the board a memo that she had sent to board members after she was asked to research the issue. Now, McIntosh says federal law requires the school system to allow trans students to use the restroom of the gender that they identify with. Now, this comes from a U.S. Supreme Court case, as she laid out. Now, whether you like it or you don't, the federal law is pretty clear on this, that students are to be allowed to use the restroom with the gender that they identify with. If not, it violates federal law. Now, the board members, from what I told, did not give their opinions on the issue during the meeting. There was one member of the public, Derek Evans. I'm not sure if it's that Derek Evans or not. I don't think it is. Called out board members on the issue, saying they should be fired from their day jobs, saying, quote, I don't know of any employer who would want to hire employees who are knowingly, in my opinion, aiding and abetting the sexual harassment of children, end quote. Now, you can read the story for yourself at WVMetroNews.com. And again, no matter how you feel about this, and I certainly have my opinions, which I've given on the show, the board is just doing here what federal law says. And that's not always what we want to hear, but that's what the federal law says. And it's going to have to be overturned by the Supreme Court. I have a feeling we have not certainly heard the last of this. Text says, if Eric Tarr is pro-life, where's legislation to subsidize prenatal care for all babies and expecting mothers? All right, I got to go. My thanks to Senate Finance Chair Eric Tarr for being on the show today, and also to Rich, the Realtor Kline, for being on the show today as well. Dale Cooper is my producer. Thank you so much, Coop. I'm headed down to the native land, down to Logan County. Myself and several of our other sister stations will be there broadcasting live again for Thornhill Toyota starting just after 11 o'clock or so this morning. I'll be there on our sister station 98.7 The Mountain at that time. Mountaineer Bowl coverage for the Duke's Mayo Bowl. I believe Jeff Jenkins doesn't like mayo. And I've learned something today. The Duke's Mayo Bowl, our coverage starts at noon today, and we will have game coverage from ESPN coming up today as well. So go mouth and ears. Coming up on the show tomorrow, Stephen Allen Adams from Ogden Newspapers and West Virginia Secretary of State Mac Warner. See you then. Till then, have fun and love somebody.
WCHS AM, 96.5 FM Charleston, and 104.5 Cross Lanes.
A WVRC media station.
We're proud to live here, too.
Looking for a fun way to win up to 25 times your money this basketball season? Test your skills on Prize Picks, the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projection for a wide variety of stats, and place your entry. It's as easy as that. If you have the skills, you can turn $10 into $250 with just a few taps. Easy gameplay, quick withdrawals, and injury insurance on your picks are what make Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Ready to test your skills? Join the Prize Picks community of more than 7 million players who have already signed up. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit up to $100. Just visit prizepicks.com/get100 and use code GET100. That's code GET100 at prizepicks.com/get100 for a first deposit match up to $100. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy.
With Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to... Has anyone seen the bride and groom?
Sorry, we're here. We were getting lucky in the limo and we lost track of time.
No, Lucky Land Casino, with cash prizes that add up quicker than a guest registry.
In that case, I pronounce you lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Daily bonuses are waiting. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.